This is From Anxiety to Love Radio, the show about undoing anxiety through A Course in Miracles and other pathways of love. Gain insights and tools to deepen your awareness of the peace that already exists within you. I'm your host, Corinne Zupko, author of the award-winning and best-selling book, From Anxiety to Love. Hey family, it feels so good to be here with you again on a new season on my podcast. I learned recently that in marketing, if you have taken a break from blogging or podcasting, they recommend that you not acknowledge the break because maybe then no one will notice. You're just supposed to slip back in as if nothing has happened. And of course, I'm going to break that rule because quite frankly, since my last podcast, a lot has happened. I do not feel like I am the same person who I was before because I feel like I am more of who I truly am. I have been on a rapid trajectory of healing. It is accurate to say that it has felt like a warp speed healing water slide. And when you are on those types of water slides that just go like straight down, you have no option but to just let go and sail. So, although I have not been podcasting in a while, I have been in communication with my community via my email list about my journey and some of the new teachings that have been coming through. And I just have to pause here and acknowledge you all because the feedback and the love and support from everyone has filled my heart. I've read every single email. Even if you have just sent loving wishes, they've been received. Thank you. It is because of all of your loving messages and support that I've opted to start sharing more details about my experiences here because this does feel like new territory for me and at the same time it's a little scary. So I just so appreciate your love and your support. What I'm going to do in this episode is give you just a quick overview of what has happened and has been happening. And I'll tell you where I'll be going in future podcast episodes. So the year of 2021 was a super intense year for me. It was really hard. It was one of the most painful years, and yet one of the most magnificent years of my life. Both of these things are true. Some painful relationship situations led to divine guidance that was asking me to let go of my spiritual practice of A Course in Miracles. And I didn't know this at the time, but I was being asked to let go in order to make space for something beyond me to emerge through me. All I knew at the time was that I was being asked to let go, to take a leap of faith. It felt so scary, but my trust in the Holy Spirit was strong enough that I could say yes. And so I let go. And I let go so deeply that if I had been so guided, I was willing to discontinue my offerings, delete my website, delete my social media, which honestly still sounds really nice, but luckily that's not at all what I was being asked to do. What I was being asked to do was to step into complete open-mindedness, holding on to nothing. So I let go of what I thought I knew about A Course in Miracles. I let go of my ideas of what healing looks like. I let go of how I defined God. I let go of what I thought the purpose of my life was. I let go of all spiritual concepts. And I stepped fully into a space of I don't know what anything is for. And I became wholly willing to be taught. Again, I say again because I've been in this space of being willing to be taught, but this was at a really, really deep level of letting go of like my spiritual foundation for 25 years. And I'll say more about this in the next episode. But since allowing pure open-mindedness to expand in my mind, so many synchronicities and miracles and unexplainable occurrences have transpired that at the time of this podcast recording, I have over 200 voice notes on my phone to keep everything documented. New relationships with angels and with spirit guides have emerged. I experienced the earth as a brother And that's Course in Miracles language as a brother, a spiritual sibling. In other words, I experienced the planet as a being with consciousness similar to you and to me. And a mentor gave me permission to own my intuitive abilities, which I have finally claimed. So in this and in upcoming episodes, I'm going to start to unpack a little of what has unfolded over the past 1 to 2 years, and I am standing in very new, yet also familiar, strangely familiar ground. In anticipation of sharing my journey with you, I'd been tuning into guidance and asking if it was time to start speaking because, like I said before, I'd shared a little bit with my community and the feedback was amazing. The answer, however, was not yet for a long time. Every time I tuned in about share is now the time to share, it was not yet. Hold steady, wait, not yet. And by now, I know that when guidance is clear, I listen because not listening to guidance only creates anxiety. So I am happy to say that now when I ask for guidance about if it is time to share, it is a full body yes. And as a matter of fact, I don't feel like I can do much of anything until I get this out. So thank you for being here and just joining me in this process. So as I've said, I've decided to begin to unpack my story here on this podcast, but I have to be completely honest with you. I'm mainly doing this for me. The 200 plus voice notes on my phone are a combination of insights, big-time synchronicities, communication with angels and guides, and recordings of detailed occurrences that I never want to forget. And while I can't share everything here on this podcast, I want to organize what has happened into at least a semi-coherent story. And I'm sharing this publicly because perhaps it will be helpful for you too. I'd like to share a quick overview of some of the lessons, big lessons that I've learned recently. Lesson number 1. If I've learned any lesson more deeply than ever over the past year or so, it is that we absolutely, positively do not walk alone. I hope you can hear the conviction and the passion in my voice. We have spiritual guides and angels who accompany us every step of the way. And like any relationship, the more time we spend with them, the closer we become. So we can nurture these relationships. Lesson number 2, a big lesson that I've learned over the past year or two, is that while the source of anxiety is believing that we've separated from God, anxiety is often exacerbated from undeveloped or underdeveloped intuitive abilities. So those of us who are sensitive to anxieties, or just really sensitive in general, we actually have a gift. We can sense the subtle. And this skill of sensing what is subtle can be repurposed for spirit to use. When spirit uses our ability to sense the subtle, our intuition becomes stronger. We can hear guidance even more clearly and come to know that we do not walk alone. Lesson number 3. Your soul is a real part of you. The soul is not just an abstract concept. The soul is not spoken of much in A Course in Miracles, but it is real and it is who you are. You can get to know your own soul. It will speak to you. And as you express your soul's deepest truth in this world, anxiety must fade because you are fulfilling your function. And when you fulfill your function, your soul gets happy. Lesson number 4. The Divine Mother is a nourishing, comforting, healing force that can bring so much wholeness and safety to your mind. I can't wait to talk more about this one. And lesson number 5. Learning how to fully inhabit your body is key in the journey of healing. I used to be afraid to fully inhabit my body because I was afraid I'd make it more real or I'd make it more, dense. It was much safer to live cut off from the neck up, so to speak, immersed in spiritual ideas. But I realize now that for me, this was a form of spiritual bypassing. By learning to be in my body, I've actually gotten better at tuning into energy blocks or blocks to love, whatever we want to call them, that dwell in my body. And these blocks have perhaps been there from generational trauma, or they are false beliefs that have been in the mind for a long time. The ego hides them in the body. Sensing these blocks can enable me then to bring these blocks to spirit for healing. So with these 5 lessons learned, you can probably sense that I can spend like the next year elaborating upon what I just said. These lessons are just 5 of many, so I look forward to sharing more. To give context for how these lessons have emerged and the teachings that are coming through, I'd like to share more of my journey with you. In our next episode, I will share the strange mystical experiences I began having at a local state park here in New Jersey. I love you. Thank you for your support. And you can find the show notes and my key lessons learned on the show notes page, which is FromAnxietyToLove.com/30. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. I am with you in your journey of undoing fear. I'll leave you with the last few sentences in my book, From Anxiety to Love. I believe in you. We're healing together. Every gain that I've made is a gain for you, and every gain that you make is a gain for me. My gains are yours, and yours are mine, because we are one. We're going to make it. The light in you is too bright to fail. If you buy a copy of From Anxiety to Love, make sure you take advantage of your free bonus, which is 3 free tracks from the From Anxiety to Love meditation album. Get access at FromAnxietyToLove.com/meditations. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.